This book, named Man and His Symbols, was created because of a dream that Carl Jung had. Jung was a very great doctor of the mind, a psychologist. He saw in his dream that his ideas were not just for big doctors, but for every common person. It was after this dream that he decided to write this magnificent book. In this book, Jung took us on a tour of that deep part of our mind, the unconscious, about which we usually don't get to know. His belief was that our mind uses dreams to talk to us. These dreams, through special kinds of signs, that is symbols, want to make us understand something. Jung was completely certain that dreams give us useful advice. This advice comes out from our hidden mind and reaches our waking brain. His thinking was that if a person understands himself well, then his life can become very happy and successful. By reading this book, you will come to know many new things about yourself. Ancient symbols and their stories are also shown in it. Jung and his companions had completed this book only a short time before their deaths. It was written especially for general readers like you, so that everyone can read and understand it with enjoyment. So let us try to understand Carl's book, Man and His Symbols, in detail. Part 1. Approaching the unconscious. You must have often seen statues of lions, bulls, or eagles on old buildings and churches. These are not just animals. Rather, they explain some deep meaning. We use words to say what we want to say. There are two kinds of things in our life. First, signs, like the names of stores, the names of medicines, or short names like UN and UNESCO. These don't have any big meaning of their own. They just point towards something. Second is the symbol. That is, a symbol or emblem. These are words or pictures that look like everyday things, but their meaning is very deep and hidden, like the wheel or the cross sign. Seeing these brings thoughts of God or big ideas about life to the mind, which we cannot fully explain in words. A human being can see with his eyes and hear with his ears, but we have a limit, a boundary. We can look at distant things with a telescope, but still there comes a place beyond which we cannot understand anything. This is where our unknown mind or unconscious mind begins. There are many things in our life that we don't pay attention to, but they go inside our mind and sit there. These things come out later through dreams. Many people think that there is only one mind inside us, but the truth is that two people, or two personalities, live inside us. One is the one we know, and the other is the one hidden in our unknown mind. That is, the unconscious. People in olden times used to say that sometimes their soul has been lost. Loss of soul has happened. Even in today's times, we sometimes lose control of ourselves and behave strangely. Then people ask, what happened to you? In reality, this is a division of our mind. Understanding dreams is very important because they show the hidden part of our mind. Sigmund Freud was the first to tell us that dreams are not useless. He found a method to examine and investigate dreams. His belief was that dreams tell us about our suppressed desires, that is, wishes. My way of thinking is a little different. My belief is that dreams don't just tell us about illness. Rather, they also give us good advice. When we think about a dream, it takes us toward thoughts that are beyond our understanding. Like a wheel can remind us of the sun or God. Sometimes the troubles of our mind come out through the body. Like if someone is not able to bear something, they may feel something like their throat is being choked. If someone is under a lot of tension, a lot of stress, they may have difficulty breathing. If someone is not able to swallow a bad thing, they may feel like vomiting. So if we carefully observe our dreams and these signs, we can make our life better and more successful. Many people think that everything seen in dreams is connected only to love or sex. That is, physical relationships, like seeing a key in a dream or wielding a stick. People look at this from only one perspective. But my belief is different. We should think about why our mind showed a key in the dream. Why not a stick? Sometimes their meaning can be something else too. When I examine someone's dream, I don't let them wander into irrelevant things. I keep saying, let's go back to the dream. What is the dream actually saying? Let us understand this with a story. I had a patient. He dreamed that his wife was very dirty and drunk. In real life, his wife was very good. That man wanted to dismiss the dream as nonsense. But in reality, his unknown mind, his unconscious mind, was trying to tell him something. In olden times, people used to say that inside every man a woman is hidden. I named this the Anima. That man's dream was telling him that the feminine side inside him, his feminine side, is in very bad condition. The dream was trying to fix him, not criticizing his wife. Our unknown mind, the unconscious, is not just for sick people. We all have it. Sometimes you forget someone's name or can't remember where some important thing was kept. That thing doesn't disappear. It just hides in a dark corner of the mind. Just as a car turning on the road disappears from our sight. But it is still there. Once a professor was taking a walk. Suddenly he started remembering many things from his childhood. He couldn't understand why this happened. Later, it was found out that the smell of ducks was coming from nearby, where he lived in childhood. The same kind of smell used to come there too. That smell had opened an old door of his mind. Sometimes our mind remembers things that we have completely forgotten. This is called hidden memory. The famous writer Nietzsche wrote a story in one of his books. That story was exactly like one written in an old ship's diary. Nietzsche thought it was his own idea. But in reality, he had read that story at the age of 11. His unknown mind had been keeping it safe for 50 years and brought it out at the right time. Our mind is very deep. Many things and signs are hidden in it that we cannot understand while remaining conscious. But they have a very big impact on our life. Our unknown mind, our unconscious mind, is not just a garbage bin of old and forgotten memories. It is like fertile soil from which new and unique ideas are born every moment. Just as a lotus flower blooms in the mud, similarly new thinking emerges from the depths of our mind. Many great artists and scientists got their best ideas in this way. Kekule, who was a scientist, saw a snake biting its own tail in a dream. From this one dream, he got help in solving a very big puzzle in chemistry. Stevenson saw the entire story of his famous tale, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, in a dream. This means that dreams don't just show old memories, but they also tell us new things that our waking brain doesn't know. Often people say that dreams are very confused and strange. While we are awake, we talk in a very thoughtful and organized, logical way. We use heavy words whose real meaning gets lost somewhere. But the language of dreams is different. Instead of saying something directly, a dream says it through signs. That is, symbols. A dream can be very colorful, frightening, or lovely. This is because dreams are connected to our heart and emotions. The meaning or context of the same word can be different for every person. If I say money, mind, or health, everyone will understand it according to their own perspective. For someone, money is happiness. For someone else, it is trouble. Inside our mind, a special feeling, a special emotion, is attached to everything, which we usually cannot feel. Dreams show us these very feelings by making pictures, making images. Today's educated person considers himself very smart. He thinks he doesn't believe in ghosts or spirits, that is, souls. But the truth is that today's person's fear has only changed. The old person was afraid of evil spirits. Today's person lives in the fear of cancer or some disease. The fear is the same, only its name has changed. Our dreams do the work of connecting us with this same old and natural part. There was a woman who was very proud of her wealth and lineage. She didn't listen to anyone. One night, she dreamed that she went to a very big party. The hostess there welcomed her and said, "Come in, everyone is waiting for you." As soon as the hostess opened the door, that woman walked calmly inside. But it was not a palace. Rather, it was a cowshed. This dream, without saying anything, made that woman understand how useless her pride was. These signs in dreams, these symbols, have so much power that they can change us from within. Messages coming from inside our mind are very important. Throughout the day, we get so caught up in office work, friends, conversations, and the crowd of the world that we start forgetting our true identity. The influence of the outside world is so much on us that without thinking, we start following others. Dreams try to bring us back to the right path. The main job of dreams is to keep our mind in balance. Suppose a person has started considering himself too great or is flying high in pride, then his mind will show him dreams of falling from a height. This is a kind of warning that, brother, come back down to earth. If we don't listen to these hints of dreams, and sometimes accidents happen in real life too. There was a man who was entangled in some wrong deeds. He was very fond of climbing high mountains. One night, he dreamed that he was stepping straight into empty sky from a mountaintop. When he told me this dream, I explained a lot to him that this could be a hint of his death. I advised him not to go to the mountains, but he didn't listen to me. Exactly 6 months later, while climbing a mountain, he fell down exactly as he had seen in his dream, and he lost his life. People of olden times understood their natural habits, their instincts, better. Today's person considers himself very smart, very rational, and has moved away from nature's rules. Dreams do the work of connecting us with that same natural world. They talk to that part of our brain that we have forgotten. Dr. Jung once dreamed of his house. In the dream, the upper part of the house was very new and beautiful. When he went down to the basement, there were things 300 years old. And going further down, he found walls from ancient times. And finally, a very old cave which had bones and clay pots. This house is actually the human mind. The upper part is our today's new thinking. The cave at the bottom is those old memories and natural ways that have been coming from within us for centuries. The important thing is that there is no fixed book for dreams. Don't buy any ready-made book from the market to understand dreams. For every person, the meaning of one sign, one symbol, is different. Like a key can mean freedom for someone and fear for someone else. Dreams have their own unique language. There is no shortcut to understanding this. It is just necessary to carefully listen to the voice of your own mind. In every place in the world, the story of a hero is told. This hero is a very brave man or a godlike person who kills frightening demons and serpents. He saves his people from death. When people listen to this hero's stories, or dance and sing for them, they feel something magical. Even a common and weak person starts considering himself as powerful as that hero. In olden times, the people of Greece used to do the same kind of stories and worship. Even today's Christianity is to a great extent connected to old stories. People think that these stories must have been made by some sharp-brained person. But in reality, creating means finding something within oneself. To understand this more clearly, let us talk about a tribe in Africa. The people there, every morning when the sun rises, spit on their hands and spread their hands upward. When asked why they do this, they were left surprised. They said, "We don't know. This has always been done this way with us." In reality, spitting or blowing was like handing over one's soul to God. Man first learned to do things. Thinking about them came much later. Today's person thinks he is the master of his own will. He thinks where there is a will, there is a way. But this is just an illusion. Even today, we are in the grip of those powers inside us that we cannot control. Old people called them gods or ghosts. Today we call them anxiety, or mental confusion, or neurosis. The names have changed, but the fear is the same. We don't want to see our own faults ourselves. So we push them onto others, like big countries of the world put their mistakes on the heads of other countries. This is what is called the dark part of the mind, or the shadow. Until we recognize this darkness within ourselves, we will remain afraid and sick. In life, happiness and sorrow, day and night, and good and bad will always remain together. Science may not be able to find God with a telescope, but believing in some greater power gives us the courage to live. Just as salt is necessary in food, in the same way it is necessary to have old stories and signs, that is, symbols, in life. These teach us that our small life also has some big meaning. When a person feels that his life has some meaning, he can endure even the greatest sorrow. Old stories actually came out of the dreams of those people who used to tell stories. These people were just like today's poets. Many years ago, the people of Greece also started feeling that these stories of gods were just exaggerated things said about old kings. They felt that these stories could not be true, so they tried to find an easy meaning for them. In today's times, the same happened with dreams too. When the psychology of the mind was newly starting, people felt that dreams were very important. But some doctors thought that whatever dreams show doesn't have that meaning. They looked at them like garbage of the mind. But my thinking is different. My belief is that in nature, nothing is something that it is not in reality. A dream is what it is. It doesn't hide anything. A dream seems confused because its language, its way of speaking, is through hints. It tells about things that our waking brain doesn't know. Science gets irritated with new hints and emotions because they cannot measure them like math. But for a doctor, these emotions, these feelings, and dreams are real. Like hitting a target in a lab is a different thing, and treating the wounded on an actual battlefield is different. A doctor has to work with the truth of the mind, whether or not he has a fixed definition for it. In Christianity, the cross sign carries very deep meaning. But if a cross is placed in front of a name on a list, its meaning is simply death. In Hinduism, the lingam is a symbol of Lord Shiva's great power. But if a child draws it on a wall, it is just an obscene picture. Everything depends on how wise the person who is dreaming is. To understand dreams, not just cleverness is needed, but knowing that person completely is necessary. We also have to investigate his past lifestyle and society. For this, Listening to the voice of one's own mind is very necessary, which is useful to poets and artists. But guesswork alone doesn't work. We also need evidence. Today's person considers himself very smart. He has left behind old stories and magic as superstition. But the result of this was that he got cut off from nature, from the natural world. Earlier, when lightning struck, it felt like God was speaking. Now, lightning is just electricity. Rivers and mountains have now become lifeless things. Because of this, today's person feels alone and sad. We have forgotten our old things and spiritual powers, but they haven't disappeared. They are sitting like ghosts in the dark corners of our mind and making us restless. Our dreams try to connect us back with that same old nature. A special kind of hint, a special kind of symbol, is created when a picture and a deep emotion, a deep feeling, both come together. Only then is it able to shake our mind and bring a big change in our life. Understanding these old things and signs is a little difficult because they cannot be fully bound in words. Many people think these are things to be memorized by rote, but this is not so. These are actually a part of life. They are connected to our heart and emotions. In psychology, we use words like the great mother or the wise old man. But if you have never felt these things within yourself, then these words are empty and useless for you. These things seem true only when you connect them with your own life. Many years ago, the old mind of man, the original mind, used to be his entire identity. As we became smarter and our brain changed according to today's times, we got cut off from that old natural power, that primitive energy. But our unknown mind, our unconscious, still keeps those old memories and habits safe even today. That is why people are also afraid of these things. These things sometimes make us very restless, and if we keep suppressing them, they become illness. Just as a baby grows slowly in the mother's womb, our mind has also come from old times to today's times. The biggest job of dreams is exactly this, that they remind us of that old world. When we get back the forgotten memories of our childhood, we feel very good. This changes our way of living, and we find the purpose of our life. When we connect these signs with our today's thinking, our mind becomes one and whole again. Today we have created a new world of machines. We are very proud of the things we have made. But the truth is that we have become slaves of the very things we have made. We have made a lot of progress with science, but we have also made things that can destroy the entire world. Like the atom bomb. We have claimed to win over nature, but we have forgotten how to control ourselves. Today, rivers, mountains, and forests are no longer sacred for us. We have taken away the magic from everything. People often ask, why don't God talk to us anymore? An old teacher named Rabbi gave a very beautiful answer to this. He said, nowadays no one is willing to bow down low enough to hear the voice of God. We are so immersed in today's thinking that we have forgotten that God often speaks through dreams and hints. Whether it is Christianity or science, everyone has moved man away from his unknown mind, his unconscious. My belief is that dreams are never foolish or without meaning. They give us very important information. The world doesn't run only on financial transactions. The desire, the longing that is deep in our heart doesn't find its answer in a bank balance. Part 2. Ancient Myths and Modern Man. Nowadays we are again understanding old statues, old temples, and old stories. Those who dig the earth and find old things tell us about the beliefs of old people. Some people think that all this is old and backward stuff, which has nothing to do with today's heavy life. But Dr. Jung told us that our mind also has its own history. Inside our unknown mind, the memories of old signs, old symbols, are hidden. We may forget them, but they speak to us through dreams. The story of the hero is the most famous in the whole world, whatever country or tribe it may be. The structure of the hero's story is the same everywhere. He is born in a very ordinary way. He shows his magical power even in childhood. He becomes famous and powerful very quickly. He fights a great battle with evil and wins. But in the end, he is killed because of his pride or some deception. The people of the Winnebago tribe of America tell the hero's story in 4 parts. These stories teach us to grow from childhood to adulthood. First, the trickster. This is the earliest hero. He is like a small child who thinks only about eating and having fun. He is very mischievous and hard-hearted. He has no control over his habits. Second, the hare. This teaches society how to live. He is a little wiser than the trickster and one who helps people. Then third is Redhorn. Now this is a real human-like hero. He wins in races and shows his bravery in battle. He has to take the help of magical companions to defeat great demons. This shows that a person should not work alone, but together with everyone. And fourth are the twin brothers. These show the 2 natures, 2 characters of a person. They are 2 brothers. But in reality, they are 2 parts of the same person. One brother is very calm, and the other is very stubborn and rebellious. Both these brothers become so powerful that they don't even fear the gods. In the end, they forget their limits and start causing harm to the world. Then they understand that too much power can also be dangerous. They have to keep their power under control so that peace remains in the mind. There is a big reason for telling these 4 stories of becoming a hero in detail. These stories appear not only in old tales, but also in the dreams of today's person. To understand this, let us look at the dream of a middle-aged man. This man was very successful on the outside, but in his mind he had not yet fully grown up. He dreamed that he was sitting in a theater. On the stage there, a white monkey was standing at an elevated place. A guide explains to him that this is the story of a young sailor who has to face difficulties. Then he sees a young man in black clothes, and then a handsome young man who is being prepared for sacrifice. In this dream, 4 forms of the hero appear. First, the white monkey. This shows the playfulness of our childhood. The man who was dreaming was very straightforward in childhood. He never played pranks. Therefore, his mind is honoring that monkey-like mischief. Second, the sailor. This is the second step of growing up, where we have to learn the rules of the world and also get scolded for mistakes. Third, the man in black clothes. This is the dark part of our mind. In it is everything that we hide from society. To become a hero, understanding this dark part and accepting it is very necessary. Then fourth, the sacrifice of the handsome young man. When we are young, we dream very high dreams of idealism, but sometimes we make the mistake of considering ourselves God. This sacrifice is actually the way to end that pride, so that we can become a wise and grown-up person. At the end of the dream, a woman comes who helps that man descend from the staircase. This woman is the feminine part of our mind. She is the Anima who gives us peace and balance. Until a man does not accept the tenderness within himself, he cannot become a real hero. For girls, the journey of growing up is a little different. For them, bowing down and surrendering themselves before nature is a very important thing. Girls get this lesson from their monthly cycle, that their own will has a limit. This is nature's way, which teaches them to bow before the great power that gives life. Just as a man does his work in society, similarly, a woman happily accepts her natural responsibility. Both men and women have to sacrifice their old things to grow up. A woman sacrifices her old identity so that she can become a free person, whereas a man sacrifices his freedom so that he can build a deep relationship with a woman. A big part of initiation is that men and women understand each other. When a man's thinking and a woman's love meet, it is called a sacred marriage or secret marriage. Understanding this is a little difficult for today's people. Nowadays, girls study and work just like boys. This is a good thing, but sometimes they also suppress their feminine power. An educated woman dreamed that many girls are standing in a line and a machine is cutting everyone's head. She too was standing in line without fear. The meaning of this was that she now has to stop living only from the head. She has to listen to the feelings of her body. The story of Beauty and the Beast also teaches this. Beauty loves her father very much, but to grow up, she has to go to the beast. That is, the monster. The beast is actually that wild and natural form of man that girls are afraid of. When Beauty starts loving the goodness of that monster, the monster becomes a handsome prince. This is the story of a girl's awakening. In ancient times, there was a god named Dionysus. He was considered the god of wine and revelry. His thinking was that a person should let the wild animal inside them come out so that they can feel the power of the earth. Later, people got tired of this noise and commotion and started wanting peace. Then the discussion of Orpheus began. Orpheus was a great singer. It is said about him that when he sang, lions and goats would sit together. Even stones would start walking behind him to make man great and wise. Since ancient times, different methods have been adopted. Some people have to be awakened with jolts and some have to be explained calmly. But all of these have only one purpose: to reform the mischievous child inside us and make him a responsible person. But besides this, one more thing is very important. That is coming out of your old and stuck life. When a person leaves his old habits and moves forward, we call this the path of moving forward or transcendence. In dreams, people often see themselves going somewhere alone. This is not an ordinary journey. Rather, it is a path to finding peace and freedom of mind. In this journey, the person is not afraid of death. This journey teaches us how to let go of attachment to old things. Often in this journey, some queen or goddess shows the way, which the Chinese people know as Kuan Yin. Part 3. The Process of Individuation. Feng. Dr. Jung told us that many signs, that is, symbols, are hidden inside our unknown mind. But the biggest question is, what work do these dreams and signs do in our life? Jung investigated approximately 80,000 dreams in his lifetime. He found that dreams are not just useless things. They are all connected to each other like a great web. If we carefully observe our dreams for years, we will see a special pattern. This Jung called the journey of knowing oneself. In our life, the coming and going of dreams is like a crooked line. Sometimes something appears, then disappears, and then comes back. This journey slowly makes us a bigger and wiser person. Just as a tree slowly and firmly grows on its own, similarly, our mind also grows. In the very center of our mind, there is a special center. This Jung called the real you, or the self. This is much bigger than our I thinking, that is, the ego. In olden times, people called it by different names. The people of Greece called it the inner soul or demon. The people of Egypt called it the Ba or the Basoul. The people of Rome worshipped it, calling it the genius. The Naskapi people who live in the forests of Canada still live very simply even today. They don't have any big religion or temple. They only listen to their dreams. They believe that a great man lives in their heart, whom they call their friend. The person who listens to the voice of his dreams and speaks truth, this great friend sends him good dreams and helps him in hunting. A wise man of China had told a story. A carpenter saw a very old and enormous oak tree. He said, "This tree is useless. Neither can a ship be made from its wood nor tools." At night, that tree came into the carpenter's dream and said, "You are comparing me with those fruit trees that people break for fruit. I was able to become so big and old because I was of no use to you. My quality of being useless saved me. We should become what our mind wants, rather than making ourselves useful according to others." Dreams of childhood are often the evidence of our coming tomorrow. When a child starts going to school, he gets many jolts from the outside world. At that time, he feels loneliness. At such times in his dreams, often round, that is circular or square signs start appearing. These signs, these symbols, tell that his mind is trying to make him strong from within. Some children from childhood itself try to find the meaning of life so that they can handle the turbulence inside and outside themselves. And some children just keep flowing with their old habits and natural signals. They don't need to look for the deep meaning of life because they find fun in playing, love, and work. They travel in the vehicle of life without looking out the window. Until the vehicle stops or a jolt comes, they don't even realize that they are going somewhere. The real work of knowing yourself deeply, the process of individuation, often starts when a person gets some hurt or is sad. This sadness is actually a call upon our thinking, our ego, which it cannot understand. We feel that someone is creating an obstacle in our progress. We start putting blame on others, like God, a bad financial situation, our boss, or our life partner. Sometimes everything looks fine from outside, but inside the person is dying of boredom and emptiness. In old stories, this is shown as the king has gotten sick, or no child is being born in the royal palace, or some demon has stolen all the happiness and peace. This is the evidence that our inner friend, our self, wants to trap us in its web so that we understand our own depth. In stories, the cure for the king's illness is some very unique thing, like a fish with a golden ring or the water of life. In real life too, when such a crisis comes, ordinary advice doesn't work, like go on a vacation, work more, or find some new hobby. There is only one way for this, facing the darkness of your life, without any fear, trying to find out what this darkness wants from us. The answer to this is often found in our dreams and imagination, dreams and fantasy. Sometimes this also shows us the bitter truth that our way of thinking is how wrong. When we start listening to the deep things of our mind, we come to know about our shadow. The shadow is that part of our mind that we don't like to see. In it are all those faults that we don't see within ourselves, but can clearly see in others, like greed, laziness, fear, or attachment to money. When a friend points out your mistake and you get very angry, understand that you have touched your shadow. Cleaning one's shadow is as difficult a task as cleaning thousands of years of accumulated filth in one day. When we don't want to see the faults and weaknesses inside us, we push them onto others. We often badmouth our political enemies, but in reality, we are seeing our own dark shadow, our own shadow, in them. This has a big downside. If we keep seeing our own faults only in others, then one part of our mind will always remain with others. Because of this, we unknowingly start helping our own enemy. Instead of this, if we speak calmly without fear, then perhaps we can understand each other. The shadow is not always our enemy. It depends on us how we behave with it. It is just like a person with whom we have to find a balance. If we ignore it, only then will it get angry. Sometimes the shadow teaches us very important things. Understanding this is not easy because everything inside our mind is hazy. Sometimes we cannot understand which thinking is good and which is bad. To understand this, let us look at a story from the Quran. Moses meets an angel named Khidr in the desert. Khidr says, "You can stay with me, but don't get angry seeing my work." During the journey, Khidr did 3 strange things. He broke the boat of poor fishermen. He killed a handsome young boy. He repaired an old wall. Moses got very angry. Then Khidr told why he did this. He broke the boat because sea pirates were going to seize it. Now they won't take a broken boat. The boy was going to become a criminal when he grew up. By killing him, his righteous parents were saved. Under the wall, a treasure of 2 orphan children was hidden. By fixing the wall, their treasure remained safe. So what appears bad to us from outside, it is not necessary that its purpose also be bad. The woman within, the women within. Not just the shadow. Another person is hidden in our mind. If you are a man, then inside your mind, a woman's soul, an anima, is hidden. Anima, this handles the tender parts of our mind like moods, feelings, and the power to love. What will the anima inside a man be like? This depends on his mother. If the mother's influence was bad, then that man will remain irritable, afraid, and sad. There is a story from Siberia where a hunter on the other side of a river, a beautiful woman calls him. She tempts him with the lure of love. As soon as the hunter jumps into the river, that woman turns into an owl and flies away, and the hunter drowns and dies. This dream gives advice to avoid false hopes and imaginations. When a man sees a woman for the first time and suddenly falls madly in love, he feels that she is that special girl. He feels as if he has known her for centuries. To outsiders, this may seem like madness, but in reality, this is that man's anima inside, which is casting its shadow on that woman. Often girls who seem a little magical or strange attract men more. One bad result of this may be that the man's married life gets ruined and fights start at home. The correct way of handling this is that the man understands that this love is not outside, but a power within himself. It is a hint to make him bigger and wiser. The anima doesn't just cause trouble. It has many good works too. It helps the man find the right life partner. When our brain cannot see anything, the anima brings truth from the depths of the mind. It works like a radio inside our mind, which stops unnecessary sounds and makes us hear the voice of the great person within us. That is, the self. Just as inside a man there is a woman, similarly inside a woman too, a man is hidden. This is called the animus. The animus often doesn't show dreams of love, but creates a fixed and stubborn way of thinking in the woman's mind. What will a woman's animus be like? This depends on her father. A father's words often become such truths in the daughter's mind that no one can argue with them. Sometimes it comes in dreams, like a thief or murderer. This is the bad form of the animus. This cuts the woman off from real life and people and makes her alone. That woman starts thinking, no one loves me, or nothing will be fine now. This thinking makes her weak and sad from within. Just as inside a man there is a woman, similarly inside a woman too, a man is hidden. This animus also moves forward in 4 steps. First, the powerful man. Like the movie hero Tarzan, this only shows physical strength. Then second, the working man. Like some hunter or brave soldier. This shows the courage to start new things. Third, the speaking man. Like some great leader or professor, this influences the world with his words. Fourth, the wise path-showing person, like Mahatma Gandhi. These explain the true meaning of life and spiritual wisdom. That is, spiritual peace. When a woman understands the man inside her, she becomes very brave and wise. But if she doesn't understand it, she argues using phrases like, everyone says this, or you should always do like this. When we resolve the conflicts of the woman or man inside us, then a new and very great form appears in our mind. This is called the real you, or the self. This is the most important part of our mind. For women, this comes in dreams in the form of some goddess or earth mother. For men, it comes in the form of some wise old man or guru. A very old story is famous throughout the whole world, of a cosmic man, a vast male, who holds the entire universe within himself. In China, he is called Pangu. When he cried, rivers were formed. When he breathed, the wind blew. And when he died, mountains were formed from his body. In India, here he is called Purusha. He lives in every person's heart, and at the same time is spread throughout the entire sky. In Christian and Jewish stories, he is called Adam or Adam. It is believed that in Adam's body, the soul of every person in the world is hidden. Our mind is connected to the entire world and nature. Just as animals know when to give birth to young or when to go where. Similarly, our mind is also connected to the society and people around us. If we pay attention to our dreams, we can come out of a meaningless world and reach a world where everything has a meaning. The depth of the mind often appears in the form of stone or glass. Stone is a very special sign because it never changes and never ends. It is the evidence of something that exists forever. People place stones on graves because the person goes away. But the stone always remains. This shows the immortality of the soul of the deceased. In Islam, the black stone of the Kaaba, and in Christianity, calling Christ the cornerstone, points to this same thing. In olden times, magicians used to be in search of a stone that would change everything, which is called the philosopher's stone. But in reality, that precious stone is hidden inside our own mind. To find it requires a lot of patience and hard work. Nowadays, people living in big cities feel a lot of loneliness and boredom. They feel as if they are waiting for something that will never come. TV, mobile, or games entertain the mind for a little while. But in the end, everything feels empty. The real thrill, the real adventure, is in that part of our mind that we don't know. That is our unknown mind, our unconscious mind. Nowadays, people are rushing toward yoga or old things, but they often just imitate others. His method was different. He taught how, without anyone's help, we can meet the real master within us. That is the self. Paying attention to the real you within yourself is like living in two worlds simultaneously. You're also doing outside work, and at the same time, keeping an eye on your dreams and small events. In old Zen writings, a very good thing has been said. They say that we should keep an eye on our mind just like a cat keeps on a mouse's hole. Neither be too strict nor too loose. When the right time comes, just as a ripe melon falls on its own, similarly, you will suddenly understand everything. To explain this center of the mind, Jung used the word mandala. This is a magical circular boundary which is divided into 4 parts. Navajo Indians, these people, used to make a painting with such circular boundaries on the ground to cure a sick person so that his mind could become peaceful. Seeing this circular boundary gives peace to the mind, and it feels that everything in life is in its right place. This inner power, the self, also has a dark part. Because it is the greatest power of our mind, therefore it can also be dangerous. Sometimes a person starts feeling that he has become very great and has solved all the mysteries of the world. Such a person forgets laughter and joking and starts cutting himself off from people. He gets lost in his own world. When we start recognizing the real truth within us, the self, our relationships change. Now we don't make friends just looking at blood relations or financial matters. Rather, we are drawn toward those people whose way of thinking is like ours. Such people together form a small and free group. Investigation has found that a person is happiest and healthiest in a small group of 10 to 50 people. The show of society or people and big propaganda actually harm our mind. This can make a person mentally sick. The old signs of religion, old symbols like Jesus Christ, Buddha, or Krishna are actually forms of our real self, our self. People who have full faith in their religion, their dreams, also revolve around those same signs. Jung saw that the mind of today's person wants to add something new to old things. Like with the old stories 3, that is Trinity, a 4th part also wants to join, which is often the form of a woman or something connected to earth or matter. These magical circles in dreams do 2 things. First, they bring back our old peace, and second, they create something new that has never existed before. This is like a staircase going upward. We return to the same place again and again, but each time becoming a little higher and better person. In the world, there are 3 kinds of people. First, those with full faith, that is, whose mind and religion go together. They are not afraid of any new change. Second, those who think with the brain, who don't believe in religion and walk only on their own intellect. They are ready to walk on new paths. And third, people stuck in the middle, whose brain doesn't accept old customs, but whose heart is still connected to them. They are like the person who got stuck in the door of a bus, can neither go inside nor come outside. Part 4. Symbolism in the visual arts history is a witness that everything in the world can become a sign, a symbol, whether it be stone, plants, mountains, the sun, the moon, or man-made cars and buses. Even numbers and circles, that is, circles, carry very special meaning. Man himself makes these things magical, and then shows them in his religion or art. In olden times, people believed that even in uncut, rough stones, gods or spirits, that is, spirits, lived. There is an old story. A man named Jacob stopped at a place to sleep. He made a stone his pillow and slept. In his dream, he saw that from the earth to the sky, a ladder was set up, and angels were climbing up and down on it. On waking, it felt like, oh, God lives here. and I didn't even know. He poured oil on that stone and made it a special sign, a symbol. For Jacob, that stone became a mediator that connected him to God. Even today in Zen gardens of Japan, stones are arranged in a very special way. These seem ordinary to look at, but they are evidence of peace of mind. Many artists don't even touch the stones too much. They just let the stone tell its own story. Thousands of years ago, when man lived in caves, even then he used to make pictures of animals. Such pictures have been found in the caves of France and Spain that are 20,000 years old. These pictures were not just for decoration, but were a kind of magic. People would shoot arrows at horses or bears drawn on cave walls. Their thinking was that if they killed the animal in the picture, real hunting would become easier. Old people believed that making someone's picture was like imprisoning their soul. That is why, even today, many tribal people are afraid of having their photograph taken. Some pictures have also been found in caves. Here, a person has worn animal skin and horns and is dancing. In many tribes of Africa, even today, the king is called a lion. When they wear animal masks in special worship, they are not just acting. Rather, they start considering themselves that very animal. Their way of thinking changes, and they become an old magical power. In every religion, animals have been considered a very important thing. In Hinduism, Lord Ganesha has an elephant's head. Hanumanji is a monkey, and Vishnuji had taken the form of a boar. Jesus Christ is shown with the sign of a lamb or fish. This means that however great a person may become, he cannot leave his natural habits. If we suppress these habits, they become dangerous like a wounded animal. If in a dream some animal appears chasing you, understand that some natural desire within you, some instinct, wants to talk to you which you are ignoring. The important thing is that instead of suppressing the animal within us, we should make it our friend. Only then will we be able to become a good and happy person. The circular boundary is the sign of the real master of our mind, the self. It shows that our soul, our consciousness, and all of nature are connected to each other. Whether it is the sun worship of ancient times or today's dreams, the circle always says the same thing. Life is complete in itself. There is an old story of India that God Brahma was standing on a lotus of 1,000 petals and looked in all 4 directions. This way of looking was itself the preparation before starting work. There is a similar story of Buddha too. As soon as he was born, a lotus flower emerged from the earth. Buddha stood in it and looked in all 10 directions. This was the evidence that he was from the very beginning, a very special and complete, that is, a whole person. Just as our body has organs, similarly, our brain has 4 ways of working: thinking, feeling, intuition, and seeing things. That is, sensation. All 4 together help us understand the world. In India and Asian countries, yantra is very much used. In these, often 2 triangles are interlocked inside each other. This is the sign of the union of Shiva and Shakti. This shows how 2 different parts of our mind, like the I, that is ego, and the unknown mind, that is unconscious, come together. This union is the ultimate goal, the final goal of every religion. In olden times, the method of establishing cities was also very magical. When the city of Rome was built, first a round pit was dug. Everyone poured a little soil from their area into it. This was considered the center of the world. The map of Rome was both round and square. This was not just for beauty, but to give people the feeling, the sense that they were living in a sacred and safe place. Old churches, and even today's city of Washington, were built on the plans of such magical circles. This is the form that shows the depth of our mind in the outside world. In olden times, people used to talk only about heaven and the soul. For them, the body and the earth had no value. Therefore, their churches were very tall, as if they wanted to touch the sky. But then a time came, the Renaissance, when people's thinking changed. They turned back toward the earth. They recognized the beauty of nature. They went around the whole world by ships and discovered science. Because of this, a distance came between religion and intellect. Today's person is caught in the same confusion. One part of him believes in old stories and religion. Then the other part only listens to science and the brain. Connecting these two parts, and again making a whole person, is the most important thing of today. Old alchemists used to be busy with this same effort, how to make the mind and body one. Old alchemists not only wrote their things, but also used to make pictures of their dreams and thoughts. These pictures were very deep and complex, because they were connected to the dark part of the mind and the soul of nature. In the world, there are two kinds of art. First, sensory, that which is visible, making something exactly as it looks, like a picture of a tree or a person. Second, imaginative, that of the thoughts of the mind. In this, the artist shows his inner dreams and strange and wonderful experiences. This often doesn't look like the real world. In today's times, artists have again started using circles. That is, circles, but with a big change. In olden times, the circle used to be exactly in the middle and perfectly correct. But in today's pictures, these circles are often crooked or scattered. Like in the pictures of an artist named Kandinsky, circles appear flying like soap bubbles. Paul Klee has also used circles in his paintings. Jung says that a real sign is created only when we want to show something that is difficult to say in words. In the world of art, the meaning of circle, that is, circle, is our soul or mind, that is, psyche, and the meaning of square is our body, and this earth or matter. In today's art, these two often appear separate and broken. This is the evidence that today's person's connection with his soul has broken. He is feeling scattered from within. There was a painter from Italy, Chirico. He was a very mysterious, that is, mystical person. He said that everything has two forms, one that everyone sees, the other that is metaphysical, and only some people can see. His paintings seemed like a bad dream. In them were empty streets, old statues and long shadows that seemed very sad. He showed humans as faceless mannequins. This was the evidence of how alone today's person is from within, and how he has lost his identity. The great thinkers of that time started saying that God no longer exists. God is dead. This didn't mean that something really bad happened. Rather, it was that the old devotion has ended from the mind of today's person, which used to give life a meaning. Doctor. Jung also saw that in the dreams of patients who came to him, the signs of God, the symbols of God, were slowly becoming dim. Because of this emptiness, artists started making paintings that were very confused and frightening. They were trying to fill this emptiness. A new method began, which was called surrealism. This meant making the waking world and the dream world one. Artists used to put every thought that came to their mind on paper without thinking. But there was a danger here. If we leave our unknown mind, our unconscious, completely open, and don't use our waking brain, that is, consciousness, then that power can destroy us too. Like in Salvador Dali's painting, A Burning Giraffe appears, which is a frightening hint of the end of the world. Today's entire modern art is actually a cry of today's person's mind. He is trying to join his scattered pieces and again become a whole and a balanced person. Matisse in his pictures often used to draw a circle or a ring. He used to do this so that a balance remained in the turbulence of the mind. For him, this circle was the sign of a whole and complete thing. Some people call modern art madness. They compare it with the pictures of people whose mental balance is not right. This is because in both cases, the person's I, his ego, drowns in the waves of his unknown mind, the unconscious. But today, we know that even great artists have a little bit of this madness, which makes their art deeper. The American artist Pollock used to make his pictures in a kind of unconsciousness, a trance. He himself didn't know what he was doing. In his paintings there was a great web of colors and lines. This is like that initial turbulence from which the world was created. This is a place where before man's understanding came, everything was the same. Around 1950, art again started changing. New artists now again wanted to connect with man and nature. They wanted to get back their lost soul. They wanted to work to make body and soul, one. A very strange thing happened. The church now started adopting this new art. New Age paintings started being made on the windows and walls of churches. This is a very important thing. It means that the light of the sky and the power of the earth are now coming together. What will happen in the future? No one knows. But in some new paintings, a hope is visible, like beautiful blue or yellow light peeking from behind very big black pillars. After the darkness, morning is about to come. Part 5. Symbols in an individual analysis. There was a 25-year-old boy whose name was Henry. Many people think that untangling the knots of the mind is only the work of old people. But young boys like Henry also sometimes fear their life. Henry preferred to live in books more than the outside world. He was a little shy and used to hesitate in meeting people. In Henry's house, his mother had a lot of influence. She was very strict. Henry's father was a doctor, but he was mostly busy with his patients. The result of this was that Henry could not come out from his mother's shadow. He was trapped in the psychological prison, psychic prison, that his mother had created. Henry also had a girlfriend, but he was afraid of taking on the responsibility of marriage. He couldn't understand whether to remain a child in his mother's protection or become a free and responsible man. Henry told 2 things from childhood during his investigation. First, when he was 4 years old, he went to a store with his mother. There he got a roll that looked like a half moon. He didn't eat it, but held it in his hand with pride while walking around. This moon-like roll was the evidence of feminine power, among which Henry was feeling himself the only male. At the age of 5, Henry built a beautiful house from wooden blocks, but his sister made fun of it. Henry felt very sad because no one understood his effort and way of thinking. Henry saw a big dream right after starting his investigation. Dreams often tell us what work is going on inside our mind. Henry had gone mountaineering with some strangers. A show was going on there. Henry was not part of that show. He was just watching it. There a woman had worn long clothes and was looking very sad. At noon, Henry thought that he should go to the top of the mountain alone. He left all his belongings below and went out alone. But on the way, he got lost. He couldn't understand where to go. Then an old woman came and showed Henry the right path. While climbing the mountain, he saw a train that was running on tracks. In the train compartments, small men wearing blue clothes were sitting, who looked dead. Henry was a little scared, but he remained safe and finally reached a hotel. Henry's dream was a map of his life. In his life, instead of doing things himself, that is action, Henry was watching others. He was running away from real life. When Henry tried to move ahead alone, leaving his mother's shadow, he got nervous. He couldn't understand how to become a free man. This was the old understanding inside Henry's mind, which was the old woman. She told Henry that there is no need to be nervous. The path will be found. The dead men, these were those old habits or fears that had now died in Henry's mind, but were still scaring him. Henry had to leave his mother's protection. He had to understand that growing up is difficult, but it is a necessary thing. Henry will have to completely change his old thinking. He will have to start his climb from a new place, so that he can meet those parts of his mind that he had left behind. Henry saw more such dreams ahead, and after investigating these dreams, Henry completely changed. He came out from his mother's shadow. He married his girlfriend, and within 9 months went to Canada to work in a very big company. Henry was now a responsible man. He had completed the first part of his life. That is knowing himself and making his place among society and people. Henry's story teaches us that if we understand the signs within us, the symbols within us, we can defeat any fear and find our destination. Conclusion: science and the unconscious. Until now, we have seen that there is a unique power of creating signs in our unknown mind, the unconscious. Dr. Jung and his companions have tried to explain what work these signs do in our life. We still have not been able to fully understand those old signs of our mind, which are called archetypes. The old maps of the mind, archetypes, have a very big impact on us. These change our emotions, our way of thinking, and even our destiny. If we understand these signs correctly, they can heal us from within. These signs can create new things in our brain, but if we keep chasing only these, then they can also narrow our thinking. Dr. Jung spent his entire life in this investigation. He taught that dreams and signs should be understood with a lot of care. He never said that what I'm saying is the only truth. His thinking was like an open door, so that room remained for new discoveries in times to come. His discovery has changed our perspective of seeing the world. Now we also have to see whether something is coming from our waking brain or from our unknown mind. Jung's words' effect didn't remain limited only to medicine. Rather, it spread everywhere. Great writers understood their stories from Jung's words. Artists found these deep signs of the mind in their pictures and songs. Help was also received in understanding the lifestyle of ancient civilizations. The strange thing is that Jung's words shook even science. Earlier scientists believed that the change of living beings, that is, evolution, happens only by chance, only by coincidence. But new scientists found that if all this depended only on destiny, it would take hundreds of millions of years more. Here, Jung's special coincidence, synchronicity's idea, is useful. When the mind has a very great need of something, then changes happen automatically in nature. In the history of science, it has happened many times that two people found the same thing at the same time. The biggest evidence of this is the story of Darwin. Darwin was writing a very big book about how living beings came into the world. At the same time, he received a letter from an unknown scientist, Wallace. Wallace was on an island thousands of miles away and had not talked to Darwin either. But Wallace had written in his letter exactly the same thing that Darwin was writing in his book. This was not an ordinary thing. This was a special coincidence, synchronicity, as if that thought was in the air and the minds of both caught it at the same time. When today's scientists investigate very small things like atoms, they also remember Jung's words. In the beginning, things like time, place, and atom were only thoughts of the mind. Old people had only thought about them. Today, those same thoughts have become part of science through mathematics. Like the word atom was an old Greek word whose meaning was the piece that cannot be broken further. Old Greek people used to think that to run everything a special pull, a special tension is needed. Their belief was that this same pull runs the entire world. Today's electricity or energy's concept came from this same old thinking. Even great scientists used to take the help of old stories to explain their point. Like Kepler had said that there are 3 directions in the world because God has 3 forms. These examples show that even the great thoughts of science have come from the depths of our mind. This is not just the truth outside. Rather, it is our way of thinking inside too. As a famous scientist had said, when man looks at nature, he sees his own reflection. Scientists Pauli and Jung together saw that there is a lot of match between the depths of the mind and science. A great idea is completing each other. That is, complementarity. Like light sometimes appears like a wave, and sometimes like a particle. We cannot see both at the same time. If we see one thing, the other will hide. This is the same as how you can see only one side of a coin. Old scientists thought that the rules of nature were absolutely fixed. But now scientists investigating small atoms say that we can only make a guess. That is, probability. We cannot say that it will always happen like this. We can only say that the chance of this happening, is more. In this, the watching person also has a very big hand. The way he looks at things become that way. Scientists can no longer say that they are looking at the outside world completely separately. Their own mind also becomes part of that game. Jung believed that if we want to understand the truth of the world, then we will have to understand mathematics deeply. Today's mathematics is no longer just the method of measuring the outside world. It has become the science of understanding the structure of our brain. Even great mathematicians used to suddenly get answers to difficult questions from their unknown mind. That is, unconscious. This means that our unknown mind not only connects things, but can also make correct decisions. The most interesting thing in mathematics is counting numbers. That is, natural numbers. These numbers are not just used for measuring and weighing, but for centuries their use has been done in astrology and methods of predicting the future. According to Jung, these numbers are not a human discovery. Rather, they have come out on their own from our unknown mind. That is, unconscious. These too are like archetypes. For example, 2 is the only number that is both even and prime. This thing no one made. This is a fixed truth. The interesting thing is that numbers exist in the outside world too, like 2 stones or 3 trees, and also inside our brain. Therefore, numbers are the very bridge that connects body and mind, or the world and the soul to each other. I have told these difficult things so that you can understand that Jung's words are not some fixed rule. This is just a new beginning that will grow further. Jung used to always keep investigating new things. He was very straightforward and did not believe in old rotten things. Before publishing any new thing, he used to check it again and again for many years, and used to raise questions about it himself. If Jung's words seem a little hazy, a little vague to you, then the reason for this is this very straightforwardness of his. He did not want to forcibly simplify things and give a false answer. For him, this life was always a beautiful mystery. He was not among those people who think they know everything. In my view, good and new ideas, creative ideas, are like keys. They help us open those doors of life that were closed until now. I am completely certain that with Jung's ideas, we can open many new secrets of science and daily life. From this, we can all become better and wiser people. If after reading this book, the desire to know yourself and understand your unknown mind has awakened in your mind too, and this work always starts only with working hard on oneself, then the purpose of this book has been fulfilled. That's all for this episode. We will meet you again in a new episode with a new book. Thank you.